Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Rider Geats DX Merry Christmas Race Buckle. So this is our annual Christmas cake item. Yeah. But this time, because of the nature of the raised buckles, it actually got to be DX yet again. Because obviously the initiative with the candy toy, everything just keeps flowing. The initiative of the raised buckles within Gashapon Candy Toy is that they're not changed. The only thing that acknowledges them being Gashapon Candy Toys, the QR code. So this is basically a candy toy, but it's because it's under the candy toy division. But however, it's DX practically. So this is what it comes in. It seems like they stopped packing these in bubble wrap. But I mean, I still don't have the Rex Vice Stamp Christmas version on hand, so here we have the buckle out of its packaging and such, to which hopefully the color comes back. But yeah, as you can tell from here, this one's for the first time in a while, or just a first for the raised buckles, an actual unique mold. As you can see here, we have the bell with the bow with the Geats symbol and a star, which, you know, looks pretty neat overall. Back here we do have a sticker, as we feel like we always have to, with the traditional bubble glitter pattern and such, with obviously it's now wealth, like a wart, right, whatever these are called, and such. And just overall, the base mold for the raised buckle is pretty cool. I like how it's circular and such. I like how they decided they actually made their own mold as opposed to just sticking the bell on and such. But when we turn it, as you can tell, it still waters. It's still the gimmick for water and propeller. But again, just like propeller, it's actually springy. But honestly, I don't mind it this time because it's just like you're ringing a bell, so it works. Like, obviously, it probably would have been neater if it was just this, but obviously it's just a lot more easier just to do this. When we turn it around, however, as you can see, the orientation for this buckle is interesting because it's in the orientation. As we know, this is the traditional orientation of a raised buckle, but this one actually gets to be facing up. So as you can see from here, its number within the track system is 018. The QR code for Gamba Rising, when that was still around, and this one is numbered CE, interestingly. I genuinely don't know for what, because it doesn't stand for cake nor candy toy, or like candy toy extra maybe. And as you can see from here, when we rotate it, there comes the pack and such. But yeah, overall, obviously because of the nature of these buckles, or the initiative of, well, these aren't going to be restrictive because of the fact, you know, raised buckles from either category are still going to retain things of the DX. It's just whether or not, it's just the coloring and such. So let's use this in our Geats stuff. So we're going to use Seeker because he's a deer, and also just because this is probably the last time we will actually get to properly use his core ID. So as you can see, we get a red LED, and you do have to set it in this orientation. You obviously can't turn it. You can't turn the actual core, obviously, or the actual buckle and such, but you know, again, it's really interesting to have a circular device on this thing. Again, just turn the bell like so. I apologize if this is washed out. But yeah, we get armed, or technically this is Seeker Armed Merry Christmas, to which this is, I think, one of the only, I think this is the only booklet that doesn't have any conceptual art. Concept art is probably what I should have said. But, yeah, like, I do like, I think the name is pretty weird of just being Armed Merry Christmas, and it's just like, you know, what can you technically do with it? But I mean, again, it's pretty neat, and obviously it's a standard armed raised buckle, or weapon raised buckle, so we just have our basic sound.
Merry Christmas, strike!
So yeah. I don't remember how we transitioned to the Vision Driver. I genuinely don't remember what we do with the Vision Driver, personally, besides zooming out. But, oh, you barely saw that. So as you can see here, obviously it's in red and green, and you have Santa Claus in the middle. So it's basically like a traditional Ryder raised buckle, which is pretty neat. This thing is gonna go off. Our weapons. So here we have the Magnum shooter. I don't know why it doesn't want to read in here. Also, like, technically it's cool that the Magnum, like, obviously because of the way this is shaped, obviously the Magnum shooter is technically the only way this can be in its correct orientation. If it actually wants to read. Alright.
Merry Christmas.
So as you can see, we got a red LED.
Merry Christmas. Tactical blast.
So you can shoot. I was going to say you can shoot down sleighs, but that's not what I wanted to say. You can do Christmassy things, but I think it actually probably works better with this.
Merry Christmas, booster.
I don't remember how this is supposed to work in frame.
Merry Christmas, booster. Boost tactical impact.
Obviously, at this point, you can do stuff like that or whatever, because that just seems like a common thing he did, from what I have not scurried, scrubbed through when I made a Belrolla video. But yeah, this is honestly probably one of my favorite Christmas items they've done in recency that didn't involve, that wasn't a sound gimmick. But then again, that wasn't too long ago, because that was Happy Brave Dragon. And, I mean, first of all, it's probably at least neat. Obviously Christmas items are always, there's always a Christmas sound programmed, unless you're Saber, to which I don't know why they didn't do that, because again, it's kind of hard to consider Happy Rider as Christmassy. However, just I think I just really like this one because of the fact this is the first item since like build that actually had a designated Christmas item, because obviously from Geo through Revice, they just simply took, the main item, like the main transformation item, or the core gimmick. I don't know how to phrase it, and just added Christmas deco to it, which wasn't bad, but it was just like, it could be so much more. Because, again, like, as I covered previously, the Orange Lockseed Christmas version, yes, that was a redeco of the Orange Lockseed, but it at least had sounds designated to Christmas, though the finishers, obviously, I think, were just the Orange Lockseed. Like, I mean, like, it's just like, it's kind of hard to like say things like, oh yeah, Ghost and Build actually had like unique Christmas items that stood out, because obviously they're just following the same like lineage of how those went. Obviously, Santa Claus was actually Santa Claus and such, and then like obviously in Ghost, Santa Claus was considered dead. But like when you look at like Shift Holy Christmas, for example, obviously all they had to do was like remold the back of Shift's speed into a sleigh, which wasn't bad. I'm not like, because then like before then it's like the Merry Christmas wizard ring was also technically, like, if you really want to get technical, no, even that follows the same lineage as Build and Ghost. So technically, in a way, it's really cool that this race buckle is the first for these Christmas items that got to be its own original thing, which makes it feel a lot more special. And I really wish they really took that up. But I know it's because it's the candy toy division. They are held back in a way because of budgetary, because obviously they're under a budget. Because obviously because of the fact that these are packed in with cakes, you're basically getting an additional candy toy item with the cake and such. It's just that in the case of this one actually got to be a DX item because of the way the raised buckles were and such, which is cool. And like, I'll at least say to this extent, Gotchard is carrying that over because of how I think Gotchard's basically the same like build, but at least Gotchard's giving you like a worthwhile set of cards. But because again, it was just kind of weird how Build handled it. But again, we'll get to cover that whenever I can actually cover that. But other than that, like, yeah, this is a really stellar raised buckle, and luckily it's not too bad to track down. Obviously, if you're going through Mercari via buy, because this thing I don't think shows up a lot on Mandarake, but I'll always say get this thing for at least lowest like $12, but highest like 18. Not more than 20. Because luckily this one is not too expensive. Because what so far our most expensive Christmas, that our expensive Christmas items for some reason are the gears, which I don't get. But I think Ryder hasn't had a outrageously expensive Christmas item in a while. They're just really weirdly hard to track down. But I think this is definitely too long. This is a really good race buckle. Yeah.